How's it going? My name is Mike. Just gonna sit here and do a little quick solo cast. And on the way up here, on my little hike, I thought to myself, what concept or message would I like to communicate? And every single time I thought of that, I blocked it, because I'd rather it be open, and I'd rather you be on this journey with me. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It's wide open. Right now, I'm in a universe, and if I were to narrow this episode down to a concept, I'd go from a universe to a unit. And to me, that's not as interesting. So you're just checking out a beautiful scene. Why am I talking like that? Talk like yourself. Such a perfect spot as well, because like I'm after balancing the camera on a kind of a electricity tower. And it just sits perfectly with my phone case just to capture this unbelievable spot. Last time I talked about AI and how it is the point of technology rather than an iteration upon it. Anyway, sometimes I watch blogs on YouTube and stuff and I kind of cringe when people just sit there and talk about themselves. So a concept would probably serve me well for future episodes in terms of having a problem to solve or like some kind of question to answer. Or another concept I had was to directly address Reddit comments with a video. I like that. People tend to care when it's about them or what they've said. But for now, I mean, I don't really take this channel too seriously. I think it's a really nice project. I really enjoy encapsulating my friends into MP4 files. The original concept behind this channel was between the lines, meaning we don't see the forest for the trees, or how do you say? We miss the important part. But between the lines was taken as a name, so I went for fast, shiny people instead, which actually has a lot of sentimentality for me and sums up exactly how I see the world and the people I interact with, because life is short, people are shiny, magnificent things, and you'll miss it if you don't take a moment to notice. Another example of that is like, I sang in a choir a couple of nights ago, well, whenever that was, a week ago, and you know, we're doing rehearsals and we were in this magnificent church, La Iglesia. And we really, for a split second, I became aware of like what we're actually doing and how gorgeous it was, and kind of how, what a bizarre thing. Like, imagine stumbling across something like that in nature, you'd be like, good Lord, this is pretty impressive what these Homo sapiens are doing. But it was, in a great setting, in a magnificent church. And we were all so focused on the task at hand to sing the song correctly, do a good performance, to execute on what we had been practicing on without flaws. We were so captive, our mind space was so spent trying to make sure that we're doing this task as we had planned to do, that we missed what was really happening. Missed the magic of trained musicians getting together and singing a song in a very reverberant space. I mean, the reverb, the natural reverb is unbelievable. Like, a very long tail, about 6-second decay on it, like, and everything sounded incredible and very. Anyway, but I had a split second where I realised, I was like, if you just, as I watched the others rehearse, like, I sat there and I said, hold on, if I were to just stop thinking about these notes on this partiture music, like this this music notation, or I just take a pause and stop worrying about, am I going to sing the next note correctly, or what was I doing? Yeah, I was looking at them, so I was sitting there going, going over the notes that I was going to sing in a bit live. If I just like take a pause and let's forget about the objective task at hand and look around you and notice what's happening. And what was happening around me was just this array of trained singers who have talent beyond belief. I mean, these are students from Music NA, a highly renowned music college in Donosti. And we're singing. I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe nobody's listening. Maybe we're all too focused on our own little world, and our worries and our insecurities and our objective tasks that we have to execute. That we don't notice what's happening between the lines. It's not normal, is what I'm saying, to exist in a universe. But we normalize it to survive. You're not going to get very far being mesmerized by a sparrow in the street. It's a lot more useful and practical to define it as a bird and move on. Compartmentalization of the nation. What I'm saying is this compartmentalization of the one, the entirety, the it, and separate it all into little concepts, into days even. It's a whole other kettle of fish to kind of perceive time as a separate day. I won't go there, that can be for another episode. But to separate concepts and people and things in front of you as individual things. Like when you make a cup of tea and you put the water in the kettle and you pour the water into the cup, is there a cup or is there an entire universe that you've somehow managed to conceptualize into a separate thing? You know? I mean, this seems like what all the mystics are talking about, really, is that to see it as one, but the singularity is lonely. What am I trying to say with that? I mean, I kind of see these videos as like a refraction of everything, like a prism. If everything in the universe, and I'm getting kind of deep and cosmological here, but bear with me. If the universe is the white light, then the individual concepts like the kettle and the cup of tea are the cover of the Pink Floyd album Dark Side of the Moon, where white light refracts into separate colours. So we seem to perceive the separate colours, separate parts of life as it's easier for us to kind of process them. rather than taking in the entirety of it all, because it's too much. TMI, you know? The universe is TMI. And I guess that's the point of this channel, is to kind of, number one, solidify a couple of ideas or predictions and concepts that I want to kind of have out there, mostly for myself, but you know, perhaps they'd be useful for somebody, might be a catalyst for something greater. But also to see between the lines. Let's say you're having a cup of tea, and let's metaphorically call that the red light, as in imagine the white light coming into the prism, the triangle on the Dark Side of the Moon album, and the separate colours coming out. Just pick one of those colours, let's say the red colour, and the cup of tea that you're drinking is the red colour. An even better example, actually, let's say just one of the colours, the red colour, is your friend. On the surface it seems like an average afternoon. But what's between the lines is a hint at the entirety of the situation, not just her, him, and your buzz that you're having with them. It's also a bizarre happenstance of existing, where we're kind of we're faced with the question, well, why? Why is there meaning? Or basically, we're given ourselves the task of finding meaning. And this is one of the things that gives me meaning, is to recognize the absurdity of it all and swing it in a positive light. I don't know. I just have to remember not to forget how gorgeous the universe is. That's what helps put things into perspective. It also, like, it relates to Anthony Mello's book, Awareness, where, like, if you're sad, or you're upset, or you have a perception that, like, everything sucks, it's wrong. For example, if somebody were to be like, oh, the world is in ruins. There's wars, there's conflict, there's problems, there's suffering. She says that the author Anthony Mello says that this is a misconception. The world is all right. The problem is within you. So it's just your perception that needs to be flipped in order to see for what it really is, which is a gorgeous field, a sunny day, and a healthy pale Irish guy. Misconceiving, making the mistake, committing an error that it's anything but one universe. Now, I'm going to leave it there, just so there's some sort of idea planted. Don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. I figure it's a nice audio file to listen to if somebody wants to kind of tune into somebody else's bizarre random thoughts. What a gorgeous day, bro. May all your dreams come true.